That's the one.
Yeah.
Good luck, brother.
Kia ora team, and welcome back to Big Boys Boxing. So, finally this fight has been made. It will be held at the Spark Arena in Auckland, which is the same venue where Joseph Parker obtained the WBO title, taking on Andy Ruiz. The venue itself will be packed. It holds, I think it's 12 to 13,000 people. We have the last day of restrictions on crowds being under 100 today. That ends at midnight. So tickets for this fight go on sale tomorrow, starting at $69.95 New Zealand dollars. The date will be the 11th of December, which is a Friday here in New Zealand. For a lot of other places in the world, it'll be on Thursday, because New Zealand's one of the first places in the world to see a new day, of course. It's a smart choice of fight for both guys. They are both ranked inside the top 10 of the WBO, Joseph being number 3 behind Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk, and Junior Fa is number 6. So whoever wins this fight is likely to be ranked number 2 in the WBO behind Alexander Usyk. Even the winner of Dubois versus Joyce should not be ranked above the winner of this fight, because Joe Joyce is only ranked 11th with the WBO, and beating number 11 shouldn't credit getting above somebody who beats the number 6. Makes sense, right? And the winner of this fight will be in the prime position to challenge Alexander Usyk for a vacant title if Anthony Joshua vacates. If he doesn't vacate and Usyk gets to fight him, then Joseph Parker will likely fight Daniel Dubois if he beats Joe Joyce for a final eliminator for the mandatory position for the next rotation with the WBO. So the fight is going to be in my city where I live. It looks like I'm probably going to get along to the fight. I'm happy about it. The fight itself, most of y'all know my view. I think Joe's going to win this fight either by stoppage or points. However, Junior's a little bit taller. He's got a longer reach. He can box on the back foot. There is a possibility that he could win the fight on points. I don't see him knocking out Joe, full stop. We know they've had 2 fights against each other in the amateurs going a long way back. They're 2 for 2. But remember, I think Junior was about 20 and Joe was 18 or 17 or something when they started fighting. So different kettle of fish in the pros. Both guys are mature. Joe's now 28 and Junior 31. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm not extremely excited about this fight, but like I said, it's because we've known it's going to be coming for a long time. This will be one of the first fights with a full capacity crowd in the world since the COVID-19 outbreak has shut down crowds with boxing. So that is a bonus. Now, I will leave a link in the description for the full press conference. You can go and check it out for yourself. There was a few little things in there that are worth looking at, but there's a lot of stuff to skip through with sponsors and just the guys who helped get the fight made. But anyways, there was a bit at the end there. There's been some media reporting that Guido Vianello hasn't been allowed into the country to spar with Joe, and Mark Cadell, Junior Fa's manager, did mention, well, Hemia will fight Guido Vianello on the same card if you need that excuse to get him in the country. However, those of you who have been following the heavyweight division know that Guido Vianello fought last weekend, and he fought to a draw against Kingsley Ibe, and he got a really bad cut in that fight. So that puts Guido out for a fight against Hemia, but it also puts him out of sparring against Joseph Parker. So I'm not sure who Joe's going to use as a sparring partner or multiple sparring partners. It's not such a big deal for Junior Fa getting sparring partners, because he's in a very popular gym, City Kickboxing, where Israel Adesanya, Dan Hooker and a few other guys all train, along with Hemia and some other professional combat sportsmen as well. So there's plenty of quality sparring there for Junior Fa. I'm not sure who Joe's going to use. He might have to get somebody in from overseas, possibly a Justice Huni over from Aussie, or somebody over from the States, maybe. Joe was asked in the press conference about sparring, but didn't really answer the question. He was a little bit evasive about it, and fair enough too. So we'll just have to see what develops with that situation, and whether we'll get to hear anything about it or not. Joe will be training in New Zealand for this fight, not Las Vegas. So like I say, he doesn't have access to the quality sparring that he usually has, and this situation will be developing. But Mark Cadell mentioning Hemia will fight Guido Vianello suggests to me that he is actually managing Hemia as well as Junior Fa, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, Junior and Hemi are training partners, been friends for a long time. They both have Tongan heritage. You know, they stick together. Unfortunately, we'll never see them fight because of it, but that's how it is. But it looks like Hemia is going to be on the card, and I really like Hemia. Watching that dude fight is always action. Always. He's not the biggest heavyweight, and I think he could make cruiserweight as well if he wanted to. But yeah, I'd like to see him fight somebody. Man, the fight I really want to see him fight is Alan Babic, or Babic. And you know, Eddie Hearn in the press conference via video link did say he's going to try get to New Zealand for the fight. He's never been here. So if he does, bring Alan Babic with you. Get him in the ring with Hemia. That will be fire. They're both small heavyweights. They both like to throw a shitload of punches with no defense. It'll be awesome. But being realistic, I think it's more likely that we're going to see somebody possibly from Australia if they try and get a decent opponent for Hemi. You know, I could see a Alex Leopai or Bowie Tupou, or even a Solomon Hamono, something like that wouldn't be too bad. I think Hemi beats all those guys. I'd like to see him in there with Dempsey McKean or Willis Meehan, but I don't think those fights would happen due to those guys maybe wanting higher profile fights. Hemi doesn't have a big profile, even though he's unbeaten at this stage, and Hemi's considerably smaller than those guys. Both Meehan and McKean are 6'6", and Hemi's only 6 foot. So, you know, I don't want to see Hemi thrown in the deep end against guys that are over 6'4". I think's pushing it for him, especially when his weight is down around 210, 220 pounds. He can make cruiser if he wants. Another option I did think of is another domestic battle that could be entertaining if Hemi was willing to try and make cruiserweight. He could fight David Light, who's not long gone professional down here in New Zealand, and he's our top cruiserweight. That could be a fun fight as well. But yeah, so Junior Fa and Joseph Parker. Number 3, number 6 with the WBO. I think whoever wins this will be stuck at number 2 in the WBO, above Daniel Dubois, being number 3 and number 6 fighting, because Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce are also fighting down the track, not too far down the track. Whoever wins between Farr and Parker, I think, is going to leapfrog Dubois, unless Frank Warren's push with the WBO was going to upset the apple cart. And we'll see what happens, though. So it's a few, like 9 weeks to the fight. We'll see what happens with the WBO rankings, and also we're going to have Dubois versus Joyce as well, so we'll see what happens with the rankings. But I'm looking forward to it. The fight's going to be in my city where I live, so looks like I'm going to be getting along to this one. Looking forward to some more announcements coming for the undercard. I think Joseph was saying in the press conference that it's going to be a massive undercard as well, so let's get it. I'm interested in who's going to be on the undercard. I'm pretty interested in the fight, however, I am picking Joseph to win, as you all know. Let us know your thoughts, what you think of the fight. Who would you like to see Hemi Ahio fight? With a realistic pick, you know, it's got to be somewhat domestic. New Zealand, Australia, Samoa, Tonga, you know, people from this region of the world, as it's pretty hard to get into the country at the moment for anybody else from the States or Europe or the UK. But yeah, looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon for notifications so you don't miss future content. That's it for me for today. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I'm out. So, shh, it's that time, y'all. Time for Big Boys Boxing.
I was gonna rip his heart out, I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey, there's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw, there's no one that can match me.